afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your grateful host. Head in studio with me, Q Money Magic Man. What's up, Q?
Another beautiful day in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Man, you ain't kidding. We are broadcasting from Lafayette, Louisiana. Check us out at rumble.com, and shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience and all of our streaming audience across the globe, Q. We had those folks in India listen one time. We're international. It was probably somebody from Lafayette, Louisiana traveling. But hey, you never know. We have gotten some messages from folks, even from California, which I love. So let's dive right in here, shall we? So we know that President Trump and what do you call Xi over there? Is he like the Grand Poobah? What do you talk to? What's his title?
I believe he's the premier.
Premier. So Premier Jinping, he's met with President Trump. I'm sure they shared like baking recipes and things like that.
Martha Stewart.
I love Martha Stewart.
I think she's hilarious.
I mean, she has a very dry sense of humor, and it is funny. But all right, her and Snoop, man.
Yeah.
So when it's like Snoop Dogg went from gangster rap to America's grandpa. I love it.
He really did.
I love Snoop.
Oh, he's hilarious, especially watching his commentary on the Olympics.
Dude, him and Martha Stewart at the Olympics are like the best.
I saw a video of like him, the Canadian national sport of curling.
Oh, hey, hold on now. I loved curling before curling was cool. I'm telling you, I got back from overseas. I didn't really much to do. I was, just kind of dealing with things. And I watched curling in the Winter Olympics. And I got obsessed with it.
I just remember at some point I was in elementary school and we had to talk about the Olympics. And we had to describe something we had seen. I didn't know what it was called. And having an elementary school student describe curling is peak.
Boy, if we had video of that, we could learn from a young Q on curling. Like Jamaica has a bobsled team. We should get one from South Louisiana. Curling. They're like, well, what is it? Ice? Well, you have to go. Well, they have ice rinks.
And, well, we would only train during the ice storms.
Oh,
we would use the Mississippi River Bridge.
Yeah. There you go. I might need it downhill. I wouldn't want to do it uphill, though.
That's for sure.
All right, let's go back to China. So President Trump spent 2 days in China with sitting across the table from Xi Jinping, the premier. Okay, better than Grand Poobah.
I don't know.
Grand Poobah's kind of
like that. That's a title.
Yeah. I mean, it's Trump has that. It's Department of Defense or Department of War. So you have
right.
The two. It's right underneath. So Secretary of War. I guess it's whoever wants to choose it. Perhaps that's what we could do. Premier Grand Poobah. Like, what sounds better, Grand Poobah Jinping or Premier? Like, Premier, what are you, going to the movies or something? That's confusing. But Grand Poobah, we know. Like, you hear Grand Poobah and you're like, oh, he's in charge.
And he definitely is, yeah.
So, all right. So, well, here's the deal. This was not like, you see all these world leaders. You see American leaders who dealt with Xi. Maybe not in China like this. I thought that was bold and really good leadership, just like with North Korea. But you've seen these guys just kind of wink, wink, nod, nod, shake hands. Like this meeting between Jinping and Trump, it was not some little like ceremonial tea party where everybody smiles for cameras and pretends to care about climate poetry. I mean, this is like big boy geopolitics. This wasn't like play. There wasn't no play going on. They were talking about oil. They talked about Iran. They talked about trade. They talked about Taiwan. What do you think they talked about on Taiwan?
Oh, I'm sure they had to talk about China, recognizing them as a democratic nation that has rights.
I'm sure that's what China wanted. They talked about shipping lanes, and I bet you it wasn't. Look, that wasn't just. Well, they talked about the Strait of Hormuz for sure, but shipping lanes, even the Greenland stuff. I'm telling you, it's starting to make a lot of sense to me. It really is. I woke up this morning, Q, and I thought about, just kind of getting ready. It's like, man, it really is like you never saw this coming with Maduro down in Venezuela, the domino effect with Cuba, the Greenland discussions, but specifically the shipping lanes and of course the military component, which we already have military personnel there. And then you look at how we're dealing with the Ukraine-Russia war, which we don't talk a lot about, but managing is probably an understatement. But this right here, like we don't like. There's a lot that goes into this shipping lane, all this stuff. But if you connect the dots between all of them, and even now with Iran putting pressure on China, China's talking because they feel the pressure. They talked about American jobs. They talked about Chinese investment, which, man, you take that with a grain of salt, and that's the only one you can be like, okay, because that they don't do anything for free, and it's strings attached all the time. And you know, that should tell you a lot. If they're willing to invest up to $1 trillion in, which is the government, it's not private Chinese companies, okay? They may have private names, but it's for the Chinese Communist Party, okay? Yeah. So this is not a play situation here. But if they're willing to infuse up to $1 trillion into our economy, that should tell you that the tariffs are working, and that Xi does not come to the table like this with Trump unless this guy feels the pressure. That's it. They talked about fentanyl. Good, because it is China that is shipping fentanyl through the Mexican corridor through these drug cartels. So I have no love lost there. They talked about global stability. They talked about actual real world stuff. There wasn't no climate summit. China must have been laughing during those. Like, oh, you want to give away your economy? Oh, we'll take it.
And we'll take your coal, too.
They're going to take it all. Look, if we give it to them.
Absolutely.
I mean, that Green New Deal stuff, they had no problem. They missed the ball. I don't know what their natural resources are over there in China. It's a lot of land, you know what I mean? But, boy, when that's what I'm saying. This is all tied together. China's reliance on Iran for oil supply is a big deal. And it's just a domino effect from a foreign policy standpoint. No one saw any of this coming. He didn't campaign on it for sure. I don't think I ever heard Greenland come out of his mouth on the campaign trail. I don't think we heard Iran. He might have talked noise on Iran, but and time will tell if this is the right move. But man, what do you want him to do? Do you want him to keep doing the same thing? Because that was not working. We'll see. I mean, he hasn't full-on invaded them. It seems like it's extremely strategic strikes, and I mean, right now we're on a pause, so he's managing it in a pretty responsible way, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I just know this: if you do the same thing over and over, you can't expect different results reasonably.
Exactly.
So, one of the biggest takeaways from this summit is something that should probably grab a lot of folks' attention like immediately. The United States and China both agree that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and the Strait of Hormuz must stay open. China wants Iran to be a proxy. Okay? Iran wants the terrorist organizations to be a proxy. If A equals B and B equals C, A equals C. Okay? Don't trust anything China says. If they want the Iran war to end, if they want Iran to not have a nuclear weapon, it's because it's to their benefit. We don't need their blessing for this. They've done nothing to help. They've only hurt. But I am happy he's talking to them, and I'm happy he's talking about this subject. I'm just saying, take it with a grain of salt. But that is enormous. I don't want to downplay it. I wanted to lead in with some truth, but I mean, you're talking about two of the largest economies on earth basically looking at Iran saying, this situation has gone far enough. So that right there is the takeaway. It's not, I think it's important to note that we can't trust China and they do not look out for our best interest, but at the same time recognize what a momentous moment this is. And it could be really, really good for our country. We're not going in there discussing negotiations with an ally. This is very much an enemy. So I'd much rather our two leaders discuss things and try to work everything out. But we'll see. Stick around. We'll be right back. We'll continue on this topic and so much more. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Man, go check out my friends over there at Giles Subaru. Giles Subaru, right off of Johnson Street. Man, you see these Subarus all over town. You see the commercials nationally. Very catchy, by the way. But the Subaru community is definitely a community, and a community that's growing, and a community that's growing here in Acadiana big time. So I want you to be part of that movement. Go get your experience, man. It's such a great quality vehicle, very strong vehicle. Subaru, but hey, Subarus are great. Giles Subaru, even better, because you get the Subaru brand, you get all the Subaru benefits, all the things, but then you get the Giles touch, and that is the service that comes with it. At Giles Subaru, you take your vehicle in for an oil change, you're going to get it back better than what you got it. You take it in for any maintenance. They have qualified technicians, right, and that's important, right there at Giles Subaru to actually handle the needs very efficiently. But the customer service that's the reason why you really go, okay? Yeah, it's a great product. Giles Subaru, right off of Johnson Street. And if you're a dog lover, you got a dog, go check out the dog park. Yes, they have a dog park at Giles Subaru. It's open to the public. It's free. You can go wash your dog at the washing station, warm water, dryer, and all that stuff. Just need some tokens, but customers can use the washing station for free. Go visit Giles Subaru off of Johnston and be part of the club. We love it. Let's talk about China some more. So we were talking about this meeting with the premier, Xi Jinping of China, and the President Trump. They're talking about a whole bunch of stuff, but where we left off was both of these countries saying, hey, enough's enough, Iran. Come on now. I think China wouldn't be singing that tune so loudly if they weren't so impacted from gas on that. Their fuel, oil and gas. But that kind of does tell you how serious the situation is with both the superpowers come together and like, hey, we need to simmer down. But I'll tell you something else. You know, this summit had a completely different tone than the old weak-kneed globalist diplomacy Americans got used to watching really for 20 years, if you really think about it. Trump does not walk into these meetings sounding apologetic for America existing. He walks in there like the President of the United States, as he should. Never understood the apology tour. Never understood the apology mentality of being an American. We ain't perfect, but we're the greatest country on this earth. And we've helped out a lot of people on this earth. But look, that changes everything, though. The way that the tone, the way that the president carries himself, the way that these meetings are being set up and executed, the flexibility of this president and the administration will bode well for him and our country in the future. But that mentality, I mean, I hate to say swagger, but like, dude, it's kind of like swagger. Yeah, man, listen, you're dealing with China. These people the government, I'm not saying about the folks, but the government, it's a communist government, openly. It is a communist, I mean, come on. You know, their civil rights record is horrible and horrendous. I mean, they have children's sweat camps. I'm like, what is wrong? Like, this is not a guy, like, they don't care, okay? They're only at the table because we got a guy that has a pair of shoes that he does not mind. He's got a backbone. You know, like I said, hey, you don't like how he says some things? Got it. I got it. I'm sure some folks don't like the way I say some things. Okay. Yes, maybe we would have said some things differently or in a different mannerism. I don't know, and I don't care. Because if I have to pick between someone who is so polished and says the right thing but does the wrong thing, I'd pick the guy that says the wrong thing but does the right thing.
Absolutely.
Because, yeah, and I got it. You know, sometimes it's easy to put your foot in your mouth, and sometimes you walk away from things and you're like, yeah, I probably could have done that one better, Q. I'd walk away from some of the interviews and be like, yeah, I probably could have said that better. Or if it's really worse, wait, I said that?
I think it's like my college speech teacher once said, there are three speeches in every speech given from the perspective of the speaker. It's the speech that you plan to give, the speech that you give, in the speech that you wish that you gave?
Yeah, I would say so. That's probably a lot of people listening and watching right now. Yeah, I've had a circumstance what that is, whether it's a speech or just a conversation or a phone call even.
Absolutely.
But I think our approach changes everything. I think our mentality changes everything here. I mean, look at what happened. Trump spent over 2 hours with Xi discussing the Middle East. They discussed all markets. They discussed trade access. They discussed fentanyl. Yeah. They discussed fentanyl precursors specifically pouring into America. And Chinese investment into the United States was also discussed. And I think that should be discussed with like 10,000 magnifying glasses. Like, dude, do not trust these folks. Pay the tariff. You know what? Because I know the tariff is going to be that's going straight to the United States, and there's no strings attached.
Exactly.
You start making exceptions for these guys, unless you're getting a lot in return, which Trump is a good negotiator. So
he is. I don't trust that the Chinese Communist Party is going to fulfill their obligations.
Yeah, when he leaves, they're done.
Absolutely.
And he's got 2 years left. That's it. And Constitution ain't changing.
And the only thing they have to do is survive for 2 years.
That's it. And they know that this is a communist country. China's been around for how long? 3,000 years?
Yep.
They didn't stay alive by being dumb. They are true. Very patient. Very, very, very patient. And they look at this situation as just a speed bump. Oh, we got this pesky president in there. He comes in and does all these things, all this stuff. But according to Trump, China, again, is now talking about hundreds of billions of dollars alongside American business leaders. That's investment in the Middle East specifically. But also this talk about Chinese companies, or that doesn't mean anything. The Chinese government, it's a communist government. They own the companies. Investing up to $1 trillion. I mean, okay, that's so wishy-washy. Of course, the tariffs could change too, but the difference between tariffs and the investments like, well, y'all are a capitalist country. It just doesn't make sense for us to do this anymore. You know what I mean? Like, but the tariff, like, the president would have to, whoever it is, would have to move them. You know what I mean? And that puts the pressure on the politician.
Man, I just had a crazy thought.
Please. So
I'm worried about them fulfilling their obligations, right?
Okay.
Let's say they don't. They're a communist country. When the communists took power, they took over companies. They took land. What if, at the end of all this, they don't fulfill their obligations and the U.S. government ends up seizing the Chinese assets that are in the U.S.?
Hey, and there's a lot.
And the best part would be they'd go to the UN to complain, but you're a communist country.
Yeah.
We did the micro version of what y'all did some years back.
Following your lead. That is amazing. And my wheels are turning legally. How do you do that? And yeah, you can. Who would have a cause of action? All that. But it doesn't matter. I understand your theory. And I think a lot of folks like it. Going to just follow your lead there, China. That's a good call. Can we also get the land around like military bases and stuff? Can we just seize that too?
Yeah, especially with the risk of drones from 18-wheelers.
Well, they talked about drones too.
After the Ukrainians managed to get all the 18-wheelers to bring trailers into Russia from Ukraine containing kamikaze drones.
Oh my gosh, dude! Yeah, there you go. And this whole, China land and around military bases stuff. Look, if we ever went to war with those, we would conquer those lands like that. So don't stress too much about China owning land in America. Now, I don't think it should happen, and I think that we should find a way to revoke it. But I want to be a realist too, so don't want anybody being scared over that. Now, naturally, we got some corporate media folks in this country. It's probably I've already seen a little bit, but just a little, but we'll probably see a little bit more of folks immediately in the national media guys trying to turn this into some dramatic Trump cozy with China, another dictator. Here we go. That whole narrative. And it's probably because they need emotional stability to survive financially. But grown adults understand something very simple. Very simple. The President of the United States talking directly with the leader of China during a global energy crisis, I'd call that leadership. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Man, let me tell you about my friends over there at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. I just love them. When you walk in, I think you automatically feel good. I really do. You got Chris, Dr. Kevin's assistant, top assistant. They do such a wonderful job, but they have the whole crew over there, just a collective approach. But Dr. Kevin, man, you want to talk about trust the science. I like objectivity. So I like the fact that he'll do some blood work extensively, by the way, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. And he goes down and it's really depending on what program you're on, everybody's body is different. But I know my own personal experience, just seeing, we focused a lot on like organs and stuff like that, and you could see a domino effect of improvement. And it's a very methodical approach. But look, that's just one of many, many, many things that Dr. Kevin can help out with at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. So look, go check him out. It's a real easy number to remember, 983-CARE, C-A-R-E, with my twang accent coming on. But go visit him over there and tell him his friend Josh said hello. So we're going to wrap up this conversation about involving the United States and China. And the two leaders meeting, they talked about a whole bunch of stuff, military, trade, fentanyl, on and on and on and on. This is a good thing. I don't trust China. You shouldn't either. I don't think Trump does, okay? But these guys talking directly, man, look, that's good. And the President of the United States going in there and just look at the agenda that they had. Just that. This wasn't some, BS climate summit where the Chinese just laugh us off the table. Like, yeah, please give us your economy. You did it with manufacturing. Can you do it with oil and gas too? Or at least, can you cripple yourself? They're laughing at us. But the president walking in and negotiating head to head on their turf, I think that's leadership. I like it. And honestly, I think one of the funniest moments from this whole thing was Trump describing Xi. I mean, I was laughing reading this. I mean, Trump said Xi looks like central casting for the leader of China. Said he is all business, no games, no fake small talk. Trump said if Hollywood tried to create a Chinese leader for a movie, they would pick Xi. Well, okay. Okay. I think that sounds exactly like Trump talking in real life. People connect with that, though, because it sounds human. People connect with Clay Higgins because he's real. Trump is real. You may not like how he says some things. You may not like his mannerisms. You may not even like his policies, but the guy's real. And people want that. People want authenticity. I know I am tired of just getting, I try not to do this show, it helps out, but I try not to just make my decisions on 30-second sound bites on social media or some. And now these ads that run, it's kind of like, okay, I don't want to jade anybody, but I'm at the point now. If I see another nonsense ad, I might just vote for the other guy. I mean, tell us what you're gonna do. I get it. You can compare and contrast. That's easy, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But people connect with Trump. People connect with that mentality and that mindset going into China because it sounds like them. It sounds human. It sounds normal. It sounds like a guy that is actually telling you his impression instead of reading some robotic State Department script written by some Georgetown intern named Trevor. No offense, Trevor. Trevor's cool, actually. And buried underneath all of this diplomacy is the real issue driving everything, and that is energy. Energy again. Every major global crisis eventually circles back to energy, to trade routes, all the things we're talking about. Shipping lanes are important to that. Economic stability, that's important, all of that. The Strait of Hormuz carries, again, about 1/5 of the world's oil and gas supply. So the world's oil supply, 20%, okay? I mean, you seriously disrupt that, specifically that shipping route, dude, the entire global economy feels it really, really fast. And you're seeing that. You got some world leaders, Trump included, or United States included, doing things to address that. But I mean, when that kind of stuff happens, you see it. Gas prices, you see it. Shipping costs, manufacturing. Hopefully that's relieved by some of these initiatives because we've got a lot more manufacturing now than we did. Airlines, man, look at the impact on airlines. Air travel, if you look at a map, you know, with all the planes, you ever see that? And it's like just a hole right there. It's just like a patch of no activity or very little activity outside military. South Louisiana understands all of this probably better than most people in the world. People here work offshore. They work in plants. They work around pipelines. They work around shipping, logistics, refining, chemicals, transportation, all that stuff. We get it. People here understand modern civilization runs on energy, whether the far, far left wants to admit it or not. We like energy too. Solar panels. I'm all about solar if it makes sense. I'm all about every single type of energy you can bring if it makes sense, but it can't cost more to produce it than you can sell it. Yeah. try to tell some of these folks that, man. When we wanted to get a new. I don't want to go on a tangent, but there was a lot of push for that when we were retiring. We're retiring here in Lafayette, the coal plant in Boyce, okay, and you have to have a replacement. So what we did was we brought in a simple cycle refinery to generating facility right here at Doc Bonan, Lafayette, and basically to provide the 250 megawatts that the city or the ratepayers of LUS would need. But do you know how many conversations I had to have telling them we're not doing wind and we're not doing solar as the primary? It's not windy enough. Now, I did ask the consultant, I did ask them, look, what we do have some natural resources. What can you do with standing brown water? Because if you come up with that, I'm your guy. I got a whole bunch. We got this river. We got what can you do with that? But on that note, I did welcome in, and I think we should welcome in solar opportunities if it can help diversify. The problem with solar right now is the battery storage. It's not the technology. It's the battery storage for that. But the battery storage technology is improving dramatically. So it may actually, look, LUS, I'm just using it because it's local, or Slimco or Entergy or any of these guys. Maybe they look at that cost-benefit analysis in the near future in 5 years. It could be that soon. And they say, well, you know, it kind of does make sense. Great. I am not anti anything that makes sense. What I am anti is bringing our economy to its knees, and people like China and Russia laugh at us and benefit from it because we're voluntarily kicking our main bread and butter out. So in Louisiana, we kind of know about that too. But I think there's some things being made maybe that can help. I'll be positive. This is good. Some good things, a lot more good than bad. But stick around, guys. We got another one this hour. I can't wait. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Hey, for all your automobile needs, go visit my friends over there at Stan's Auto. Two great locations. One with the wonderful folks of New Iberia over there off of Admiral Doyle. The other one with the great people of Lafayette on Doucet Road and Johnson Street right by Red. Stan's Auto. So look, you need to buy tires, you need to get your oil changed, you need to order parts. You just need questions from a mechanic that won't take advantage of you. All right, just shoot you straight, good, bad, or ugly. Go to Stan's Auto, please. They have really good ethical standards, good work ethic over there. They treat you like family. I've been going to them for quite some time, before they supported the show. So it's a really good environment. That's the best way I could say it.
Yeah, I mean, you walk in and literally the owner of the company is sitting in the lobby.
His desk is there.
Yeah, like how often do you encounter that? You know for a fact that customer service is going to leave.
Because if you think about it, that is where the rubber meets the road. It's in the lobby.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, who's been in there waiting? Not Stan's Auto, but other places. You're like, dude, sometimes you just need an explanation.
Yeah, and
hey, we thought it was this. Kind of like when you go into surgery. We thought it was this, but it's really that.
And you'll get the explanation with smiles and details.
Go visit Stan's Auto, man. Two great locations, one in Lafayette, one in New Iberia. Go check them out. All right, let's check out some other things. We got this election. Did you hear there's an election, Amar?
Man, isn't it about some congressional races or Senate races? Or...
We had a congressional race.
Oh, that one got delayed.
Psych.
The map to the election was wrong.
Oh my God! All right, Q. This would have been the first show this week that we didn't talk about them dang maps.
I really did just start that tangent by mistake.
I'm just saying. All right, I'm going to say one thing. I'm just going to say, as we progress on these congressional district maps, okay, if one of the two districts based on race was unconstitutional, well, then the one based on race is unconstitutional. But then the elites, and that's what they are, because they're Republican and Democrat, the elites, the politico class, whoever, is going to tell us, well, that's not based on race. You're racist for saying it. But it's not based on race. We got to think about Orleans Parish. I mean, that's just naturally Democrats. Do you think the Democrat leadership would say the same thing about you? Well, we got to care about Acadiana. They got a bunch of Republicans over there. They will, boy, look, if you really care about Orleans Parish, why don't you look at the last 50 years of Democrat leadership, and if you really care, why don't you put a Republican in there? This should be 6-0. These the census and the districts are no longer controlled by grown-ups. You have to remember this. This is children at large, okay? And that is the battlefield. So right now, across the country, we have children, and it's going to be politically gerrymandered. And guess what? That is perfectly legal. Politics is not a protected class. Parties are not a protected class. Race is. Gender is. Socioeconomics is. Alienage is. All of those things through case law has made those things different than what we're talking about now. So you absolutely can do it.
I'm sorry, you said alienage, and I instantly thought of the guy from the History Channel, Aliens.
What, aliens? Does that? Oh, which one? The guy with the poofy hair?
Yes.
I look. He's interesting.
He is.
I heard recently none of those are older. He's the new. He's grayed out and he has gray beard and everything. That's what someone told me.
He's becoming distinguished.
Yes. You know, when they first started all that UFO stuff, about 20 years ago, you know, you started seeing those documentaries from history and all that stuff, and this guy goes on. A lot of people accept it a lot more now.
Yes.
You know, my wife swears that, and hey, look, you know, sometimes she can be right on with these things, but she's like, well, the country has to be introduced. You can't just roll up there and say there's aliens.
I agree.
You have to slowly put it out there, so humankind will not lose their mind. And I am the total opposite. Hey, look, that might have been why some folks got mad at me when I was in office. But I'm like, here it is. This is a problem. And why are we waiting? Do it now. Fix it now. You know, I always lived on the thing, like, and I think Trump does this. You only have at minimum 4 years. You better do some good things.
Yep. You
better do some good things with what you got and roll with it and get out of there. But anyway. So this U.S. Senate race, Q, that is hot and pie. You said maps, and I just had to go off because one last thing, that district is either based on race, which they're going to say it's not. Well, then what is it based on? Okay, because if it's not based on race, dude, you can draw it however you want.
Exactly.
So why are you choosing once again to give the Democrats a seat in Congress when you do not have to? You have a supermajority in the House. You have a supermajority in the Senate. You have a Republican governor that I'm sure if you present it to him would sign it. Just pass a district that replicates a majority of the voice of Louisianans. And that we are a conservative state. We elect these people, and I don't understand it. Not all. There's a lot of good ones in there. A lot of good ones. And most people, I think, want to do the right thing.
I agree.
You know, I do believe that. And maybe that's naive, but I'm going to force myself to be that way because why not? Who wants to? I mean, now, look, now, once I mark you, I'm still going to be kind to you, but I ain't going to trust you. Still love you because God calls me to love you, and I love everybody. Like I said, I just love some people a lot more than others, and I love a lot of people less than other people, but I love every human being, even the folks that do us wrong, man. You got to forgive. You got to move on, you know? Jesus says forgive and forget. I don't know if it's like neurobiologically you can forget unless you have the Men in Black, like, you know, the button, you know what I'm saying?
But even the button, they could undo it.
No.
Yeah.
They could undo the button on Men in Black. That must have been Men in Black 5.
It was.
What's really funny is Men in Black 1, they go to the tabloids to get their intel.
Or I think it was 3 or 4, actually.
There is 3 or 4? I thought there was just 2. I was just making it up.
I only learned that there was another one when I was like scrolling Netflix
yeah.
or one of the
You wouldn't know.
services.
It wasn't promoted that much, I don't think.
I don't remember it.
But dude, so yeah, but I think what we're really told there is forgive and move on. Let it go. You know what I mean? I think that's what the takeaway is. All right, so because you can say, I'll forgive, but I'll forgive, but I'll never forget. I got it. I've been there, But I think moving on helps.
Oh, definitely.
Season for everything, Lot's wife didn't get turned into a pillar of salt necessarily because she just looked back. It's because she wouldn't let go of what was back there.
Right.
That's a very important distinction. But anywho, hey, we got some statewide numbers here on this race. Look, we'll take a tiny little break. We'll come back and we'll hit this up. But we got fundraising numbers. We have early voting numbers in this U.S. Senate race. I want to run down for you guys, and pretty interesting as we close out this wonderful week. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Shout out to my boy over there, Kish, over Keith Kishbot with Kishbot Construction. Proud supporter of the show, serving Acadiana for just at 50 years, man. That's wonderful. Look, Kishbot Construction, they always leave the site better than what they found it. I know that personally. I've had them at my house, had them at my office. Look, if I need something, I call them. And they are very quick, very efficient. They don't BS you. And I like that. It is what it is. Okay, and too many times folks will overpromise. I'm not saying any names, but I really appreciate Kishbot Construction. Go check them out. Man, just wonderful dude for our community. Just a good guy. Love you, Kish. Sergeant of Arms at the Florida League Republican Women, if you didn't know. Man of many hats.
Yes, indeed.
All right, let's go over some of this early voting numbers, okay? So remember, if you haven't voted yet, you can do like I do. I'm a traditionalist. I go on the day of. I've early voted, I think, twice in my whole life.
During COVID, I early voted for every race.
I straight up went in. I tried not to wear my mask. They made me. I don't know if I did or not. Oh, anyway. You talked about, and by the way, 6 days in a row we've talked about the congressional districts.
Yes.
But you had mentioned sewing kits for masks and all that stuff. How silly. Like when we first started with all this COVID, you can't use PPE twice. Make sure once you use your mask, throw it away in a biohazard and use it, get a new one. Gloves, you got to take them off as soon as you're exposed and throw them away. Man, after about 4 weeks, they're like, you can use the mask, just keep it on, like, pretty much when you sleep and everything, all right, and you can reuse it over. Then they're like, man, y'all just put some cloth over your face. Cover them face, throw that face. So it kind of went a little crazy. So I think there was a few things at play. Does the PPE industry have a really strong lobby? Because think about the messages. Toys, they make them. The theory is you make them to break, so you have to keep buying them.
Right.
PPE, what a wonderful business model. You have the entire medical community, nurses, doctors, everybody bought on this. It might be right. As soon as it's contained, you touch a cup, throw it away. Mm-hmm. That means you got to buy more. What a wonderful business model.
And you got the government to enforce it.
That's what I'm saying. It is crazy. And look, I don't like that we're having this conversation because 5 years ago, no one questioned the medical community. Right. You had a really good, solid trust there. And I'm not blaming doctors. I'm not blaming nurses or nurse practitioners. I'm blaming politics.
Absolutely.
And politics got in. When you get into politics, you're starting at 50-50 of favorability, give or take. The medical community was batting like 900. They were at 90. And when you let politics come on, you're starting to listen to commentators like me instead of people that went to school for it, because I had plenty of doctors countering some of that stuff, but it was in private. All right, so statewide early voting numbers, 257,195. And Q, you say that's a lot.
That is unprecedented.
That's more than the presidential, right?
I believe it close to it.
Okay, that's a lot. They
were pretty much at parity, I believe.
So early voting top 6 parishes. EBR, so East Baton Rouge Parish, 32,000. Orleans Parish, 24,000. Got to take care of Orleans, 24,000. Jefferson Parish, 21,000. St. Tammany, 19,000. Caddo, 12,000. I know a lot of folks are like, where's Lafayette? Lafayette, just under 12,000. So you got about 300 votes separating Caddo and Lafayette. But outside of Caddo and Lafayette, Orleans, Jefferson, St. Tammany, that's 62,000 right there. You add in Baton Rouge, that's another 30. So, yeah. Party breakdown. This is interesting. Democrats, 113,000. Republicans, 105. Ooh. Now, other no party was at 38,000. So, where do those other no party voters vote? Because you have to fill out some pay. I was talking to a buddy of mine that switched from Democrat to no party. He said, I don't like Trump, so I'm not yet to Republican Party, but I'm not a Democrat anymore. I said, that's a step.
See, Mr. Blue Wave?
See, Mr. Blue Wave? Come on, you know you're conservative. Come on, make that leap. Come on, Mr. Blue Wave. I love you. All right. So, I'm curious to see on that. Now, okay, the 38,000. Senator Cassidy was making a push, and strategically, I thought this was politically a correct move. He was pushing Democrats to switch their party, and he didn't come out and say, vote for me. He should have, because that's what you were saying, because that is a targeted audience for you. I don't think Fleming and Letlow are going after that niche.
No.
But statewide early voters, white voters, 158,000. I don't even know why we keep track of this. Black voters, 89,000. Other races, 8,700. Okay. Statewide early voting sex. The ladies, rocket ladies. I always say y'all are the smarter creatures. Look at this. 150,000 to us dudes, 106,000. What's wrong with the men? Well, I'm a man and I didn't early vote, so maybe they're just traditionalists like me, Q.
Could be.
So, anyway, I thought that was extremely, extremely interesting. Now, you have something on numbers.
So, looking at the distribution of early votes with Orleans and Baton Rouge having such a high number, and then looking at the total number of Democrats who have cast early votes, it's an interesting perspective because the Senate race, the Democratic primary for the Senate race, hasn't been that engaging.
That is such an interesting point. And I don't know if there's local elections in some of these parishes that may be driving that too, but I don't think so. This is midterm,
yeah,
and it's a primary.
So the biggest driver seems to be the constitutional amendments, which is rare in Louisiana.
Ooh, and look, you got some counter. I hear a lot about the judge, the Amendment 5 moving it to 75. I got some pretty staunch conservatives. They're like, no, keep it at 70. Give younger folks a chance. Don't just pad somebody's retirement is what they said. And I was like, ooh, okay.
That's a perspective I, to a certain degree, share.
Yeah, I go back to I'm so mixed on that. I mean, I don't have a problem if the folks elect the guy and he's 74 years old. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. But I can see the other side, not the whole padded retirement, but just to you want to recycle those, A person at the Florida Lead the other day was asking, we had 3 city court judges, judicial candidates up. And they said, basically, look, I just listened to all 3 of you. All 3 of y'all look very qualified and smart. And you're talking a whole bunch of legal stuff that all 3 of you that I just don't know. And he said, how in the world can the general public really and effectively elect a judge when we're not trained collectively on these areas? And all 3 candidates gave good answers about democracy and all that stuff. And hey, that's a fair question.
Absolutely.
I said, why don't we elect? But we elect the coroner.
Yep.
And he's a medical doctor, so it's not just legal fields. We elect attorney general, and that's a professional skill. A lawyer. You got to be a lawyer. So, hey, democracy. But there are folks that say that judges should be appointed, not elected, kind of like the federal guys. Get the politics out. But this is state government. This is local government. the folks should be, especially Citicorp, the folks should be able to say, I go to the same gas places that this guy goes or this gal goes. I should be able to choose who's administering that stuff.
I mean, judicial candidates can't even fundraise.
That's true.
Other people have to fundraise for them.
Yeah, they can't be involved.
Exactly.
They can attend it, but they can't. Yeah, you're right. That's absolutely right. All right, guys, look, stick around. Man, we get back. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, and I can't wait. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting from Lafayette, Louisiana. Shout out to all of our KLFY Plus and Rumble and Strava streaming audience. We certainly appreciate you guys. Man, let me tell y'all about my friends over there at Giles Subaru off of Johnson Street. You can't go wrong with Giles Subaru. They have such a wide selection of Subarus. I couldn't get over. When you go over there, whether it's the floor room or out in the field, as I call it, in the lot. A lot of variety. I was always amazed by that, and something you won't see in every dealership, and that is a dog park right here. Big breed, small breed. They even have a dog washing station over there. If you're a customer, you can use the washing station for free. The dog park's free all the time. Big breed, small breed, and go check out the Subarus, man. And I love the staff over there. They're not pushy, just very, very informed. Very informed. Can show you a wide variety. They really take the time to see what's your needs. Like, hey, what are you looking for? Isn't that the most important thing? They get it. So Giles Subaru, go check it out right off of Johnson Street. You can't go wrong. Tell my friend Bob I said hello. Giles Subaru. Love it. All righty. I have my dear friend in the studio with me, Jamie Cree from the Acadiana Republican Women, coming in hot from Youngsville, where life is sweeter. What's up, Jamie?
Hello. How are you?
Man, I am great. I was so happy when you could come into the studio, man. I'm pretty fired up. So what's going on over there at ARW? That's Acadiana Republican Women. We had the Florida League Republican Women in the other day, and I'm so blessed. We're so blessed to have two wonderful groups here in Lafayette Parish and so many groups across our state. So what's happened over there at Acadiana Republican Women?
Well, we have our upcoming meeting next week on May 20th. It's Memorial Day, so we want to, show some respect and honor to our veterans who have passed on.
Mm-hmm.
So we will have Commander Jim Weber with Acadiana Honor Guard, and we'll also have Darren Santee, I know I probably said his name wrong, Commissioner of Veterans, Louisiana Department of Affairs. So we'll have two good speakers, and Miss Iris, our military coordinator, has some other exciting things happening for the meeting that she hasn't told me all the details, so she's keeping it a surprise.
Miss Iris, my sweet friend. The first yard sign that I ever put out running for mayor president was in Iris's yard, Miss Iris's yard.
She is a great lady.
I love her, and her dear family and her husband helped me out a lot with the VA, and just so appreciative. You got really some good speakers over there, and the head of the Department of Veteran Affairs for Louisiana. That's a pretty big important role. That's a really big role though, because there's so many. You got the veteran homes around the state. I'm sure he'll talk about that. One right down the road in Jennings, very popular place too, and just a lot of stuff. What else is going on?
The next meeting, so it's not June. We'll be doing our July 4th celebration. So please keep an eye on that flyer when it comes out, because that one's going to be really, really exciting. We've been planning some fun things. I don't want to give too much away, but just think actual 4th of July. Think of those foods you eat on July 4th. Take it there.
Now I'm getting hungry. Man, look. Sometimes I go to ARW and I feel like I'm like at a gift receiving ceremony. At some of them, like the July 4th is usually good. I don't want to take any thunder away, but man, at the ARW, it's always at night now.
Always at night.
Always at night. Is it the third Wednesday?
Third Wednesday of every month.
See, I pay attention. I have to put that on my counter. There's two good ones coming up, man. I'm telling you. All right, so third Wednesday each month, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Doors open at 5:30.
Man, you guys come in. Look, it's a great social scene as well. Think around fellow Republicans and you don't have to be a woman to join. You have to be a man. They let biological men in. They'll question you if you're a woman saying you're a man.
Yes.
Well, I love my time over there. So one thing about both groups, but the ARW right now is one thing I've noticed. You go to these political meetings, and sometimes it just feels like a lecture. I mean, you just feel like, okay, I get it. I'm hearing basically the news or whatnot, or one side of the news. But this is you don't feel like you're at a lecture at all. It's very engaging. You have multiple speakers that come up. I still say we have the best prayer at the ARW opening out of any group. That nice lady she does a good job.
She does, yes.
So what how can someone like if let's take a man or a woman that's not a member of the club? How can they join Acadian Republican Women? We have a lot of folks that want to get involved.
So they can go to our website, acadianrepublicanwomen.org, and there is an application you can fill out, and we'll see it through the Google Forms. Or you can just come to the meeting, fill out a paper application, pay your dues. Dues are $45 a year for members and $25 for associates.
Hey, and associates are us males, right?
Yes. Or if you're a member of another club as a woman, you can join as an associate to the next club.
That is really good to know. I didn't know that. I'll start promoting that because there's a lot of folks that go to both clubs here in Lafayette. So that's so you can support both, is what I'm saying. And we should, my fellow Republicans or my fellow conservatives that just hadn't registered as a Republican. Man, these groups do a great job. And I'm telling you, you got a lot of Republican candidates out there. I was a Republican candidate at one point. I couldn't have done it without the Republican women. I'm just telling you, I couldn't have done. And I couldn't have really, I think I was a better leader in office because of my interactions with my Republican women groups. Once a month, we would be purposeful about it coming in to meet, but we spoke way more than once a month. The once a month was just, it was purposeful. That was like, if we don't talk, then we'll at least talk that once a month. But I wanted to hear, what's going on. But regardless, a lot of Republican candidates out there, if you want to volunteer, this is a great organization to go through. So you go to Acadian Republican Women. If you're part of the group, you can log in your hours and things like that. So you get some benefits that way, some perks. But the most important thing is helping out promote Republican leaders in the local community. But they help with state and national elections as well. Yes.
And it's a way of doing community service.
Yes.
So it's giving back to your community.
Hey, if you knock on doors, you burn calories.
Yes.
I'm telling you, you can South Louisiana. You get into some of them neighborhoods. I would always, when Jamie would say, well, make sure you're drinking water, pack your water. So I live off the locals.
That's so true.
This is South Louisiana. I'm telling you, someone's going to offer some water. If not, I'm going in the garden hose.
I've seen that almost across the country, honestly.
Really?
Like if you're willing to knock on someone's door and ask for their vote, they're probably going to beg you to take something with them. Water, a soft drink.
So you
something.
See that you've been involved, Q, in campaigns and politics outside Louisiana. So you've seen that outside of here too.
I have.
That's good. That gives me joy in my heart because you want to see good neighborly acts, not just here in South Louisiana.
Absolutely.
Well, good. Have you had a chance to knock on any doors or?
I did. The last cycle they had for elections, I was knocking for some of the candidates.
How did you like that experience?
I'm an introvert, so
me too.
Kind of weird. So, but I was kind of happy when they didn't answer, so I could just leave. Those who did answer, I had a little script, so I was able to get that information out.
Stay on message.
Yes,
that's right. Message is important. You want to be unified.
Yes.
Wow, that's important. Us introverts, he knows I am very much an introvert, like extremely introverted. We get a bad rap.
We do.
Yeah, like we don't like people. We love human beings.
Yes.
We're just cool by ourselves.
We are, yes.
Like, it's okay. I'm just, believe it or not. How much time we got, Q? All right. So stick around, though. Stick around, Jamie. We'll talk about this and so much more. We got some hot topics. U.S. Senate races coming up. We might have some information on that. It's tomorrow. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasted from Lafayette, Louisiana. Shout out to our KLFI Plus viewing audience and Rumble. Go check out my friends over there, Dr. Kevin at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. I love it over there, 983 Care. Hey, you feeling sluggish? You want to look at something, a different approach? You want to see what's out there? You want an individualized functioning medicine approach, go to Dr. Kevin, Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. Man, they got so many things. They test your blood. They're very objective. They look at your organs. It's a very, very unique, tailored approach. And you have nothing to lose. Go visit my friends at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic here in Lafayette, Louisiana, 983 Care. They will take care of you. You want to feel better? You want to at least talk to somebody about feeling better? Maybe a little bit more focus, a little bit more energy? Hey, go talk to my friend Dr. Kevin at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. We got my dear friend Jamie Creed on the show today. I'm talking Acadiana Republican women. I love that. Third Wednesday of every month, 6 p.m. Doors open at 5:30. I want you to go check this club out. It's very, very easy. They're at River Oaks, right off of Collie Saloon near the Thruway. Very, very easy, very awesome. In and out. And really good quality guests. But this nice lady wears so many hats, so we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things. Acadiana Republican women, there's some things going on in Youngsville where life is sweeter. Jamie, let me be quiet. You go ahead. Take it over, my friend. What you got?
We're going to start with this month.
Yes.
So we have Youngsville Chamber and the Leadership Youngsville are putting on Guns and Hoses, our volunteer.
Guns and Hoses?
Yes, our first responder volleyball tournament. It's at Sugar Beach. It will be Saturday, 30th. And it kicks off at 6 o'clock, so you can still register your teams. You can go to the Youngsville Sports Complex website to register. It's a 4-person team, 2 men, 2 women, $120.
Ooh.
And that proceeds, portion of that will go back to our fire department and our police department.
Love that. That's a good event, too.
Yeah,
Fun.
it is.
There's a lot of folks that show up to that, too.
Yes. And spectators, they can come for free. It's family friendly, so they'll be face painting. We have a lot of tents that'll be out there with our sponsors who'll be promoting their businesses and have some goodies to give away as well.
And when is this again?
Saturday, May 30th.
May 30th. Look, that's a couple. That's just 15